Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are listening to this YouTube channel experience that I'm having with Sue Bayley. This is the big interview, and it's hosted by myself as the Trusted Business Community Director, and I often reach out, as you've probably seen from our channel, to other really high-profile individuals in the professional marketplace. Sue Bayley, I met recently through our collaboration, and as you can see, what's going on behind my head, we've got to know each other through that. And just a little bit about Sue to give you an introduction before she goes in and gives us a little bit more detail and a bit more meat around the bone. She's an interfaith minister, an artist, and a multiple author. What gives her a thrill is getting people to know themselves so that they can relate to each other much better and others as well. She's a guiding individual, and families make their true choices over conditioning. And she'd love to have a chat with anybody who really resonates with the ideas of obviously getting to know each other and know the others a lot better. She's obviously faced many challenges herself, and some more recently as well. But she's undertaken studies as a careers guidance, somatic guidance, embodied relationship therapy, and obviously international creativity, and one spirit seminary. So she is a lady who I've been really looking forward to finding out, getting a little bit more of a detailed background story to Sue Bayley. Sue, welcome to the big interview. Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you for inviting me, Sean.
You're welcome. So, all those people listening in have heard me sort of give them a brief introduction. But I'd like to take you back a little bit, right? So maybe not right at the beginning. We won't go back right to the beginning, but the beginning of the journey, which has led you to where you are today. So, just leading up to that journey and just focusing on that journey, can you give us a little bit of a backstory about who you are and how you've managed to get to where you are today?
Okay, so I think the crux of my story is that I'm a selective mute in recovery. And that occurred when I was almost 4. And um, after being strongly parented, let's put it that way, by my stepfather, I became a selective mute and basically refused to eat and went on a downward spiral. Now, why does an event happening a month or two before your 4th birthday have anything to do with the question? It's because it's really important that when huge events happen, that we understand the context and we understand the invisible impacts that occur. I learned only this weekend a consequence of that event, and I'm 68, so that's why it's uppermost in my mind. As a selective mute, it means that when I'm in an environment where I feel comfortable, which obviously is subjective because it's down to how I feel,
Of course.
then I can express myself and I can help somebody who's a stranger to me with ease. Conversely, if I don't feel comfortable or welcome, my old behaviors kick in and I might not speak and you might not get anything out of me. And I've been called rude before now because people don't understand what's actually going on, which is why it's so important.
Yeah.
I also learnt that I was autistic when I was 47. So I lived, if you like, the first 4.5 decades not knowing I was different, and the last 2 decades knowing I'm different. And there isn't a lot different apart from the fact that I've got more clues on how to interact with the world, and I've got more clues how to read other people. And given that my whole thing is about helping people move from silence into expression and from self-doubt into self-awareness and from then into mastery of what they choose to do in the world, it's it's just been vital that I learn myself before I try to teach others.
I can take that certainly on board. I think many people, I mean, you're in a position where you've obviously got life experience, and you've been diagnosed with obviously autism, and there's been the fact that when you went through a very strict parenting, that sort of gave you that sort of feeling of sort of going away from like the outside world and not speaking, and that's I can relate to that. I can relate to not having. I've not had it personally, but I can relate to the understanding of it. One of the key things, and I think, over the time that we've known each other, the thing that I really, really, really enjoy having conversations with you about, and when you've been on our meetings and you come along to our meetings and you interact extremely clearly and concisely, and the you're very well versed in what your knowledge is, and you come across well versed, and I think that's what gets people to sit up and listen. And that is a strength of character, because there's an awful lot of people out there that, whether they've got neurodiversities or not, there's a lot of people that would be very, very sort of like inside themselves. But I can also understand your comfort of being in a room where you feel comfortable, makes you feel relaxed, and then speak out openly and be part of it. But I can also understand that if there's an uncomfort there, you would step back, and sort of go back into the shadows, if you like, and not want to talk or not want to
Absolutely.
interact.
Yep.
Totally get that. How does that affect, not necessarily you, but how does what you're experiencing, is that quite a regular thing when you see in others how they react? I mean, I can think of one lady I know really, really well, and she's bipolar. Um, and if there was a any sort of raising of voices or anything like that, she would literally go to the corner of the room. So I've actually physically seen that. Does that happen quite often, in general? Just
Yeah, I think that if you've had an experience that's adverse,
mm,
you can do loads to heal it, learn from it, take the lessons. You can do it through using your mind, your body, your spirit, listening to others, you know, being creative. There's so many gateways into making that scenario more amenable to
mm,
the nervous system, but it will never completely go because it's part of how you're shaped.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be something that always gets triggered or something that you always use as a stick to beat yourself.
mm,
But it also gives you courage and compassion and gravitas, because you're not just asking your beloveds. I call my clients my beloveds. You're not just asking them to do something that you're not prepared to do or done.
yeah,
Um, and that, sometimes when I ask people to, breathe and drop down into their belly and to sit in silence with what's arising, I know that it can be uncomfortable. I know that that's the last thing you might want to do. That's not what I only do. So I don't want to appeal, oh my God, this woman just makes me sit in silence. But I know that there's certain stretches
mm,
that will make people think, oh, this is a bit uncomfortable. But it's in that comfort stretch
mm,
that you learn and you get wiser. And I'm with you in the activity or in the witnessing completely. I
yeah,
don't just leave you.
mm.
And that's face to face or online. So
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. Excuse me. I mean, looking at those that you help now,
yeah,
and bringing it sort of a little bit more, you've given us a little bit more, a bit of backstory, and I'm
yeah,
sure people would love to know more about that. But looking at the here and now, I mean, obviously you're bridging the gap, as you quite rightly say on LinkedIn, between neurodivergent and neuro-curious worlds. Um, and the work that you do, how What is the impact? What is it? Give us a little bit more of a bit more
Okay.
than the sitting in silence. I can understand the sitting in silence because that's a time for reflection. I'm
Yeah.
looking at that thinking reflection time. You know, just
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
in calm.
I think that I've worked with um older teenagers that miss their markers in school.
Hmm.
I've worked with mothers that have got a neurodiverse child and they can't reach them. I've worked with individuals who found out that they're neurodiverse and don't know what to do or how to be because they're in a new territory.
Hmm.
I've stood in front of 250 14-year-olds and supported them through the suicide of one of their peers. I've spoken in the House of Lords on disability. Um, I've helped a woman who unfortunately was diagnosed with breast cancer explain to her neurodiverse child, well, she was an older teenager, the consequences of that. Um, and I've helped a grandfather and their grandson deal with self-harm by painting together with me, painting with them. Um, I've I've taken people on walks around the lake that's just 5 to 10 minutes walk from here, and help them like walk and talk type stuff. So it usually involves either using my voice, my paintbrush, or my pen.
Right.
Um, and it usually comes from whether they're approaching me about um, a mind or a mental health issue, an emotional intelligence issue, a somatic issue, or a creative block.
Right.
It depends what they come to me with,
Hmm.
what
What you
toolkit
then?
I bring
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
fundamentally, it's all a person bringing their lived experience, witnessing the other,
Mhm.
and helping them find their own answers. I don't try and fix them because I don't perceive they're broken, but I help them find their own answers by being with them until they get aha moments.
A true support, a true support standing side by side with the clients that you would work with, and not just being in the background, but there as and when they need them, and supporting them through that journey to.
Like the footprints, where were
Yes.
you? Where were you? Oh, well, you didn't see two sets of footprints because I was with you.
And I was
That sort
carrying
of
you at the
vibe.
time. Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, that's wonderful. Thank you for that. Now, people are obviously going to. I'm sure people are going to want to know more about Sue Bayley, and especially the amazing work that you're doing with so many different people from so many different walks of life. And there is obviously no limit of, obviously that there's no limit of where you can talk to people because you've got the online format, of course, as well, haven't you? As well as obviously face to face. You'll talk to people face to face and support people face to face. So with that in mind, those listening in on here on YouTube, where this is being recorded to, um, can you tell us where can people find you? Where do you hang out on the
Okay.
socials? What's the best
So
place to get hold of
so
you?
currently, I've moved my website onto Rowan's CRM, and the address is autismfamilydynamics.uk. If you go on there, there's a website, not a website, a email, which is ask@autismfamilydynamics.uk. And I'm also on LinkedIn. It's something like the usual LinkedIn address, and it's Sue Bayley Official at the end.
It certainly is. Yeah. No dots
And,
or anything like that in between that. It's just one word, everyone. That's Sue Bailey official, all in
and then
lowercase.
I'm on Instagram, which is Sue_Bayley_3. I am on Facebook, but having been hacked and having had challenges, I do that more minimally now.
Okay. No, that's fine. I mean, obviously, those who are LinkedIn is one of the most used platforms. Obviously, Facebook is as well, but Instagram is very, very strong
I
as well.
also use WhatsApp. So
And of course, you can get hold of her on WhatsApp. And the WhatsApp number for everyone is 07702 435 234. You can WhatsApp Sue Bayley there. She'll be more than happy to obviously answer any questions or queries or support needs that you require. So it's been an absolute honour to have a big interview with you today. It really has. You came into, as said at the beginning, you came into our world off the back of the collaboration that we forged, and it's been an absolute inspiration having you in and around us. It really is, and everyone who's met you has always spoke so highly of you. And I think for those listening in on YouTube, if you haven't met Sue yet, please reach out to her in one of the formats that we've spoken about and what Sue suggested to go and find her, because she is somebody who really knows her stuff. For those listening in, again, don't forget to like and subscribe on the channel so that you can not only hear a recap of what Sue and I have been talking about, but you can also hear all of the other interviews and all the other things that are going on, including the keynote speaker slots that are on our bigger meetings that we hold throughout each month. Find us all there at TTBCA, and that's YouTube at TTBCA, and you can like and subscribe and keep in touch with us. Feel free to follow us.
how do I share it? How do I share TTBCA and
Oh,
me?
don't you worry, I'll share it with you. So it'll all come over to you. So don't worry,
Okay.
it'll all be shared with you. But for those listening, thank you so much for being here. To my wonderful guest on the big interview, Sue Bayley, the amazing Sue Bayley. Thank you so much for taking the time out to have a conversation with me.
You're welcome.